What is up, YouTubians? Kudo Malo here, coming at you with another exciting video answering the questions that you lovely people asked in the comments section there down below on YouTube and also through the Facebook page, Kudo Malloy Product Reviews. Let's get into breakfast. What's in it, when to have it, the theory behind it, all that good stuff. Please keep in mind this video is intended for entertainment purposes only. What I'm saying is that I'm not an expert in any way, shape, or form. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm simply going to share with you some knowledge that I've accumulated. Okay, so go to your doctor. Most important thing, have your doctor do your blood work, your lab work, test your hormone levels, all that good stuff. Trust your doctor's advice and listen to your doctor. Probably the best thing you'll ever get out of this video. Okay, so let's get into the short and sweet video. What's for breakfast? There's an avocado, right? A nice ripe Hass avocado. There's about a half a cup of rendered pork belly. There is a nice big slice of cheese that's in there. Real cheese, not the processed stuff, whatever, but nice big slice of cheese. Then there's about 10 olives. How big is this plate? It's about the size of my palm, right? I'd say about 5-6 inches across, something like that. And then only about like an inch deep. Right? So that's what's for breakfast. Protein, fat, and fiber. There are no grains in here, meaning there's no toast, no pancakes, no waffles, no high fructose corn syrup, none of that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's get into the theory and exactly what all this is. All right, so avocado, a nice ripe whole avocado, basically cut it in half, peeled it, you get the idea, threw that in there. The avocado is there for the good fats and for the fiber primarily, right? There's very little net carbs, if any, that are in there. It's mostly fat and fiber is what I'm trying to get at. That keeps the body burning body fat, right? If you've come out of a sleep cycle, some will be doing intermittent fasting, some will be doing just regular eating or whatever. But anyways, your body's been sleeping. Hopefully your digestive system has slowed down while you're sleeping. If your body's going to use anything for fuel, it's going to use stored body fat. So by starting the day with some nice healthy fats, you're telling your body, hey, let's continue burning that stored body fat when there's no other source of fuel in the body. Insulin levels are going to stay low, relatively not a huge insulin spike from all this, which means you'll have more energy, you'll feel better, you won't get that insulin carbohydrate crash. You get the idea. Fat, fiber, protein. Okay, then the pork belly. I started with, I'd say about 3/4 of a cup of fresh pork belly, not bacon. I'm trying to avoid as much bacon as possible because bacon has the nitrates, the sulfides, the curing process stuff that they throw in there, the sugars. So pork belly is as close to like raw as you can possibly get. That's why I use a pork belly. Chopped it up, right? Started with 3/4 of a cup, chopped it up, put it into a nice low heat skillet, rendered out most of the fat. I probably ended up with about a half a cup of pork belly when it was all said and done. Put that in the bowl. Okay, then cheese. I started with something like a 4-inch by 4-inch by 1/4 of an inch, nice thick slice of real cheese that goes in there. I can show you the nutritional information. Let's take a look here if I can grab focus. But basically what's going on is protein is 7 grams right there. The total fat is 9.6 grams right there. The carbs is like 0.1 grams. It's almost nothing. And then there's hardly any fiber in here because it's cheese. But cheese is the fat and the protein element continuing that fat burning process, not really going to cause too much of an insulin spike, not going to cause too much of a blood sugar spike as well. If you're diabetic and you're worried about that kind of stuff, pre-diabetic. Anyways, you get the idea. So fat and protein primarily coming out of the cheese. Okay, the olives. There's 10 olives in here, give or take. Let me show you the nutritional information for those. There's 3 grams of fat, as you can see up there. There's 2 grams of carbs. There's 1 gram of dietary fiber, which means your net carbs is 1 gram of net carbs that are in there. There is no protein, but basically fat and fiber is the primary reason for the olives. Again, good for the gut biome, the gut bacteria, because the gut bacteria loves to feed off of fiber, right? And then again, not going to spike the insulin that much, so more of a lower, milder spike. Why is it important to keep the insulin low, especially at the top of the day? Because insulin is your fat regulating hormone. The higher the insulin spike, right? Like if I were to have pancakes or waffles or oatmeal or hash browns or any of that kind of stuff, the blood sugar is going to go up. The insulin's going to, the pancreas is going to produce more insulin to kind of counteract that high spike in blood sugar. What's going to happen is your body's going to say, hey, okay, there's all this fuel available. Because the insulin is so high, it's basically telling your body to store all that extra fuel as body fat. So the lower you can keep the insulin spike, the better. Meaning that now your body's going to use this stuff for fuel, and there's less of a chance or less storing of any of this as body fat. Basically, that's the reason why I want to keep the insulin levels low. So that's the reason for everything that is in this breakfast. That's the reason why it's there. If you really want to go deep, if you want to hang around a little bit longer, intermittent fasting combined with this is even better. It's like a dimmer switch. It's another level higher of more fat burning, optimizing the fat burning that can happen. Let's say a person out there, I got a few questions about this too. Let's say a person out there is doing the 16-8 intermittent fasting thing, where let's say the first meal of the day was at 9 o'clock in the morning, right? You wake up at 8 a.m., your first meal is by 9 o'clock in the morning. What's happening is you're kickstarting your metabolism because your digestive system is going to have to start working. So metabolism goes up in a good way, meaning that your insulin, remember, the insulin level doesn't come up that high because there's not too much carb action going on here, right? So metabolism starts going, body starts firing up, it's warming up the engine, so to speak. Metabolism gets burning, you get all that stuff going. So that's 9 a.m. So then for the next 8 hours, right, you're in your feeding window for a total of 8 hours. I would eat, this is me personally, I would eat probably every couple hours. So 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock-ish, and then my last meal is around 4:30 something. So I'm done eating by 5. So that's 8 hours, right? 9 in the morning till 5 o'clock p.m., that's 8 hours of a feeding window. So now what's going to happen is between 5 p.m. and let's say midnight, I'm using my digestive system. My digestive system is working to process all this food so that when I do go to sleep, I'm in a fasted state. And the benefits of being in a fasted state when you go to bed, right? Because you got to remember, last meal was at 5 p.m. Let's say I go to bed by 11 o'clock or midnight. I'm already 7 hours into the digestive process. So most of the food that's going to be digested has probably already been digested. So when I go to sleep in that fasted state, hormone production goes up, growth hormone especially, repairing the body from whatever work was happening. Took a walk, went to the gym, you name it, growth hormone goes up, body has a chance to repair itself because it's not so focused on digesting the food. Then if you're a guy, testosterone production goes up, right? If you're a woman, estrogen production goes up in that fasted state while sleeping. So then in the morning, now I'm going to eat my meal, something like this or very similar to this at 9 o'clock in the morning, kickstarting that metabolism going and going and going. You get the idea. It's a cycle. It's a never-ending cycle of goodness. What to do if I don't have the pork belly? I'll put some eggs in. I'll cook maybe 2 or 3 eggs to get the protein level there. What to do if I don't have the avocado? In that case, I would rely on the olives or the cheese. So it's kind of like backup systems, right? You don't have this, you can have these two. If you don't have this, you can have the egg, right? You kind of get the idea. But I'm trying to cut out as much carbs as possible in that morning meal as possible. If I didn't have the cheese, I might drizzle a little olive oil in there. That's good fat, right? And if I didn't have the olives, then I've got these other two. So it's all backup systems to backup systems. Anyways, that is the video. That is the reason for this type of breakfast. Basically, there's no carbs, hardly any carbs at all, some net carbs, if that, but it's mostly fat, protein, and fiber, the three things. Fiber is for the gut biome. The fat is to trick the body or tell the body genetically to continue that fat burning process. And then the protein is basically for the muscles, keeping muscle mass, lean muscle mass, you get the idea. And the more lean muscle mass you have, technically the more fat your body burns while at rest. Technically, that's a whole nother video. Anyways, subscribe button, like button, somewhere down there. They keep moving around on YouTube. I'm really trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the month. So please subscribe to the channel. Also down there, there's a like button. Make sure you smash that like button here on YouTube for the YouTube algorithm. That really helps. In the description down below, there's a link to the Facebook page. That's Cooter Malloy Product Reviews. Make sure to visit that Facebook page. Ask me questions down in the comments section there down below and on the Facebook page if you like. Also, down in the description, there's some links to some pretty cool products if you want to check those out. I just recently updated those. Anyways, I'm Cooter Malloy. Happy breakfast to all of you. Hopefully it's early in the day as possible to get the metabolism going. And I will catch you all in the next video.